I'm objecting to the portions about alcohol.
Okay.
Because the door has been open. Counsel specifically said, I think more than once, that her client is a hyper-vigilant mother. Nobody says anything about having a cocktail, but when there's evidence to show that they are drinking when the son is texting things to the mother, no call back, that's important, and it's important to show the jury what they actually did and spend their time on.
All right, to help us go through all of this, we're joined now by Francey Hakes, a former federal prosecutor. Thank you so much, Francey, for joining us. You know, Jennifer Crumbley's lawyers fought hard to keep those text messages that she sent to her husband out of court because they're really damning.
Well, they are really damning, Elizabeth. I mean, this is a case about effectively criminal negligence. And so what the prosecution is trying to do is build a case that these parents, first, the mother who's on trial without the father, trying to build a case that the mother is criminally negligent and liable for the criminal acts of her son. So now what they're really trying to do is dirty her up and show that she was a parent who was completely checked out of her son's life, ignored all the weird signs like his talking about demons throwing bowls around, all the way culminating when they go to this conference at the school and they show him that he's been searching for ammunition and that he's drawing violent drawings about guns. They still checked out, spent 11 minutes talking to the school, and then just walked out and left him there.
You know, I think what's almost more, I don't know, I almost want to say heartbreaking, are how many times in these text messages he says, aren't you at least going to text me back? Or what time are you coming home? I'm home alone. Is anyone going to be home?
Well, it's clear that Ethan's calling out for help. It's hard to feel too sorry for him, considering that his answer was not to kill his parents, but to go and shoot up a school and kill innocent children. But you're right. He's asking for help multiple times. And I have a feeling that's one of the main reasons that these parents stand charged with what is a very novel cause of action in criminal court.
Yeah, there were also text messages that were between the parents, and in which they're talking about Ethan drinking. Like they say, how is he this morning? And the father answers, he's got a headache. I think he drank too much last night. And they talk about giving him a Xanax. It sounds like they were trying to self-medicate him.
Well, it sounds like they were just terrible parents, and they really didn't care about the welfare of their son. They certainly didn't care about the welfare of other people around their son when they bought him a gun and took him shooting, and didn't care enough to tell the school that in spite of the fact that he's got drawings of guns and blood, that he had access to a gun. And in fact, it was sitting right in his backpack during that meeting. Tragically, no one looked.
What do you think, as a federal prosecutor, of this historic prosecution of Jennifer Crumbley, of this move to hold her criminally responsible for this mass shooting that her son committed?
Well, I certainly understand the impetus of the prosecution. Their goal is to hold anyone accountable who could have played any role in this horrific school shooting that sees 4 children dead. That being said, it is a novel issue. Criminal negligence statutes are unusual. Those are crimes of omission, things that you didn't do. Generally in this country, we don't hold people criminally liable for not doing things. You can watch a murder happen on your block and not call the police, and you're not held criminally liable for that murder because you didn't do it. So this is a really novel case I expect will end up all the way in the U.S. Supreme Court to decide whether or not criminal negligence applies in this particular situation.
And if a Supreme Court does rule on this, Francey, what a precedent this would set going forward. Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.